Okay, Big Mike. James is here. James, you're on twice.
Yeah, because for some reason it wouldn't. I had to download the program
What?
on my work laptop. I'm using my work laptop.
Are you at work?
No, but
okay. I'll say no more. Say no more. Amira, I'm assuming this is you here, Amina. Can you just give me a thumb up? God, making sure I'm talking to the right person. Don't want to share no secrets. Okay, great, cool. Oh, you're gonna be incognito today. We're not gonna see your fabulous face.
I was being shy.
Okay, well, you know what? You don't necessarily have to shw your face. I'm just nosy.
I do. I'm here.
Okay, I'm glad you're here. Amira is somewhere. Big Mike, can you text Amira? Remind her. I don't know what's going on with her.
She was commented in the hold on, let me copy the thing again.
Copy. Oh, she's having trouble getting on?
Yeah.
Well, this would be a fantastic time for me to be playing some DJ music, but since I do not have a DJ, I cannot do that. So, excuse me for looking down, people. I just want to put this on my Facebook page. I hope everybody is doing that as well, because we want everybody to check out what we have to say today. Most of the people on here I know, some of the people I don't know. So I'm looking forward to getting to know y'all a little better. I had a fabulous background for y'all that says New Eurekan Poets Cafe, but I had to get rid of it because I went into my poetic archives and pulled out one of 2 boxes of chapbooks that I've been saving or have had in my possession since 1998. So from time to time, you'll see me flash a chapbook. Now, for those of you who don't know what a chapbook is, chapbook means cheap book. Okay, so we're not necessarily talking about the publishing of the cheap book. We're talking about the self-publishing of the actual book, like Growing Up Hip Hop by Khalil Al-Mustafa, who was also a New Eurekan Grand Slam champion. He's living in California right now. So this is his actual book. Okay. Still don't. Was anybody able to get in contact with Amira? No? Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead.
Gotta put her, I think she's in the waiting room.
What? Now, I have somebody who is helping me with the waiting room.
Everybody's in. There's nobody in the waiting room.
So we're just going to go ahead and start.
Oh, she's just saying it won't let her in.
It won't let her in. What can we do, Jason, to get her in?
I don't see her in the waiting room. I mean, she has to recheck the link that she's using, but there's nobody waiting at this time.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna if you can text her, tell her to go to the Facebook page, the link, and click on the link, and she should be able to come in. All right. And what I'll do is once we get the first performer up and running, then we will go ahead and I'll try to do some tech behind the scenes because I don't want to be rude to the people. All right, good day. All right, let's get the show started. Y'all ready? Okay, I'm just gonna check in with everybody here. Let me unmute Matt real quick. Matt, I'm just checking in on you. You ready? Okay, yep. All right. We're about to get started. I'm gonna mute you back. Okay. Big Mike is not muted. Okay. Let me harass Miss Deborah real quick. Now I can't unmute her. Oh, Sean Battle. Okay, Sean. I think everybody is here. Sean Battle is here.
Look at that beard. Woo, man.
Oh, my God. Why can't I unmute him?
I'm here.
Sean Battle, I mean, I'm saying, you looking like you about to go chop down some trees.
That's that SWAT team beard right there, man. Woo-wee.
I'm giving it a moment before I go into anybody barbershop right now, Lord Jesus.
Listen, I went and got my hair done, and I was petrified the whole time. I'm not doing anything else. My eyebrows are like, who you doing? And I don't even care anymore. I don't even care. All right. If you have not done so, please share. If you go to the New Eurekan Poets Cafe Facebook page, you can share the link on your website. websites, excuse me, your social media accounts. If you can do that, it'll be fantastic. And I am about to start the show. I don't have any particular order. Does anybody want to go first? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Nobody want to go first? Nobody? Okay, forget all of y'all. I'll just pick some. All right, good people out there in cyberspace. This is Vint. I have to do my shout outs right here. We'd like to thank the NEA, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literacy Partnership, and New York City Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You can support us with a tax-deductible donation at www.nuyorican.org or Cash App of the money sign Nuyorican Poets Cafe. I will be putting this up into the chat, and I will be shouting this out throughout the production of the night. This show will end promptly at 9:00 p.m. I'm not one of those people who like to keep going over and over and over again. Yeah, Amira made it. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Amira, looks like you're walking. Oh, let me see if I can unmute her. Let me unmute her. Amira. It's not letting me. Well,
Amira can't travel, so she's got to put her travel backgrounds on.
I know she's always up to. Hey, I'm glad you made it.
Well, I was like in the waiting room waiting for the host to let me in for like 20 minutes.
Oh,
So,
okay. Ouch.
It's okay. No, it's fine. I finally closed down everything. Mike sent another link, so I'm here.
Okay, and that's all that matters. All right, I'm unmuting all of our lovely features. I guess what I should have did was look at all this here. James, okay. I got all of my features muted. Unmuted, except for Matt. Matt, I unmuted you. Don't mute yourself back, man. Okay, all right. Okay. Is everybody okay?
Yep.
Everybody's ready to start.
Yep.
What we're gonna do is I'm gonna read, since nobody wanted to go first. I'm gonna read.
I volunteered actually.
Oh, okay, because I'm about to say I'm gonna read from left to right. So I see Matt, I see Big Mike second, I see James, I see Sean Battle, and I see Amira. Am I saying your name correctly? Why I want to call you something else?
I don't know.
But I am saying your name correctly, right?
Amira, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that I didn't want to disrespect anybody's names, because I hate it when people call me Helena. I'm like, it is Helena. Or somebody try to be smart and they're like, hell. I'm like, you're not cute and you're not smart. I've been hearing that since I was in the 4th grade. It's 2020. All right. I hope everybody is maintaining and doing well in the COVID-19 pandemic. Extra special shout outs to all of my essential workers and teachers and educators trying to hold it down. But I got to give a little extra love to all the social workers, because you know I'm a social worker, especially all of us who are working inside the criminal justice system and doing work at the prisons and in reentry programs. So, with that being said and done, I was asked by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe to put together another online event after the success of essential workers. And I thought about, in the spirit of giving back, I thought about all of the fabulous people that I know who have published their own book. And I've had the pleasure of talking to some of them about that process. And I was like, wouldn't it be great to do a show with all of the poets who have published their own book? And after everybody featured, we'll do a panel discussion so that the people on the audience or who listen to us in the cyberspace universe, in the Zoom world, can ask questions, and maybe we can inspire other people to publish their own book. I don't have my own book. I have a chapbook called From the Gut. For those of you who don't know what chapbooks mean, chapbooks basically means cheap book back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I'm talking
I think she froze.
I remember Gemini. Y'all know. Okay, so this is his chapbook that he published in 2002. It's called Poetic Gemini, Two Sides to Every Story. So since I have a great historical archives of poetry books, from time to time, I will be pulling out somebody's chapbooks and giving them a shout out. The first poet I've ever knew who had a chapbook was Faraji Salim. The first poet I knew who had their own book was Leah Lyric Jackson, and she actually had her own publishing company. So it was Lyric, and it was Barbara Horn, and they were like doing it big back in 1998, and they're still doing big things. So I'm going to share a story, and then we're going to bring Matt on for his first, for him to do his pieces. Years ago at the New York Poets Cafe, it must have been like 1999, there was a poetry group performing. And people have been asking me, what's the name of the group? That's neither here nor there. But I will tell you, it was not A Touch of Reality, because that was the big group, but it was some other groups. And I remember I brought the performers. They had a chapbook and they had a cassette tape, and I brought it. And I emailed them and I asked these artists, could you please give me some hints about how I can start my own, I want to do a poetry CD. I want to do a chapbook. And basically what I got back from them in the form of an email from AOL, for those of you who remember the original emails, was, we don't know you and we're not familiar with your work, so we don't know if you are worthy of our time. Yeah. That was the messed up email that they got. So I vowed that day that if anybody ever asked me about how I was doing what I was doing, I would have no problem with sharing with them, because the way I look at it, if one of us win, we all win. And the one thing about knowledge is that it is very powerful, and to whom much is given, much is expected. So we have to give back what we know. Make sense, y'all? So please make sure you stick around for the panel discussion, because from Mad all the way down to everybody's on the panel, they got a story to tell about how they published their books. And we need to know, especially if we're going to be in this game for some time, because COVID-19 done changed the game. We got to find additional sources of income. All right. And special shout out to my girl, Mr. Bora, all the way down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She's one of my midnight poets from the National Black Theater Festival. Although I'm no longer associated with that production, I still have mad love for my midnight poets. So with that being said and done, our first performer, you've read his bio in the link. So I just want to tell you what I know about him personally. Many moons ago, I was traveling to Canada. He was sitting to the left of me. We get stopped coming back into the United States because we had to cross the border to catch a plane to get back to New York. We get stopped by, I don't know, the Bounties, the Mounties, or whatever, right? And they asked us, what was we doing in Canada? And we was like, we was there for a Martin Luther King celebration. And the guy, went in the back seat and said through the window, well, what did Martin Luther King ever did for Canada? And Matt said, what do you mean? What did Martin Luther King ever do for Canada? Next thing I know, they had seized our cars. They had took all of our passports. I was shaking because I had like about $2,000 in cash on me, because that's how, and I made that selling chapbooks and CDs like at one night on top of what they paid me. And I was like, how do I explain it? I got all this cash on me. Man, I said, when we get out of this, I'm going to kill him. Okay. That was the last time I saw Matt for, I want to say, well over 10 years. And last year at the New Rican Block Poets Cafe Block Party, which would have been going on right now, I was like, that guy looks like Mad. He got up and he performed. I said, that is Mad, which stands for the many attitudes of Dennis. So please clap it up in cyberspace for my good personal friend, who I'm so gracious to share not only open mics in the United States, but also in Canada, and now in the Zoom universe. Mad!
Thank you. How long are we going for, Dr. Good Cholesterol?
If you could do it for 3 poems, that'd be great. Okay. But after you do a poem, we're gonna talk a minute or 30 seconds or something about the poem. So
not a problem.
So
So first of all, I'd like to say I'm happy to I finally got released from the Canadian prison. So happy to be here now. I'm gonna start, and obviously I'm gonna read from my book, since that's what we're doing. And this piece is entitled Head Playing Tricks on Me. As a kid, I was teased about the size of my head. They called me headquarters, and now I'm super self-conscious. During a visit to urgent care for sticking a Q-tip too far in my ear, the nurse asked me, "Can we get your head's weight for documentation purposes?" Excuse me? What did you just say to me? Sir, I said, can we get your height and weight for documentation purposes? In poem.
What? Man, you know, I have the same, well, I don't think I have a big forehead, but isn't it a shame how, people talk about how God has made us and give us like these conscious stuff. So, I want to thank you for sharing that. And does anybody have anything to say? Thumbs up, thumbs up. I unmute you. Okay, Sean Battle.
Oh, I was giving a thumbs up.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing that, Matt. And that is what is the title of that poem again?
Head playing tricks on me.
And it's on what page of your book?
That's on page a page near the beginning.
he be bugging out. He be
Somewhere
bugging
near the
out.
beginning. But the title is an ode to the Ghetto Boys song, Mind Playing Tricks on Me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because when you've grown up with certain things and you feel kind of way about certain things, it's funny how you will hear things that people didn't say. So so moving forward, this is a poem entitled PYT. Letter to my unborn babies, a confession written in the key of Michael Jackson's PYT. You would have been pretty young things had I not premeditated your termination. Pregnancies of yesteryear torment me. Patricia, Yvette, Tawana, all three sharing one thing in common. The old me, irresponsible and immature. We grew up in the inner city, a place where missed periods were considered a death sentence. A baby on the way was never cause for celebration, just another mouth to feed. In this ghetto, a place that eats its own, where baby face baby daddies to be pushed expectant baby mamas down staircases unexpectedly. Like conservative evangelicals, they didn't believe in a woman's right to choose. Although a flight of stairs was never my choice, I now realize pushing you toward taking care of it was a grave mistake. Patricia, Yvette, Tawana, unprotected sex and triplicate, followed by dreams of fish that successfully swam upstream, only to get caught on hooks made out of legalized hangers. Today, Margaret Sanger is smiling up at me because I chose eugenics over paternity. Patricia, Yvette, Tawana, had I realized the magnitude of my indifference, I would have acted differently. Preempting your trimester was never in your heart. You wanted to have the baby, just not by yourself. If we made it together, we should raise it together. I couldn't see the wisdom of those words back then, but now hindsight holds my hand while standing in a dream world cemetery filled with fetus-sized coffins, victims of cold, calculated callousness, disposed of in red bags marked hazardous waste, picture yolks tossed away in an egg white colored room, a sterilized environment with latex gloves covering hands that carry out the dirty deed. I grieve in my sleep. Guilt overwhelms me. I wake up yelling, I'm sorry. Patricia, Yvette, Tawana, mothers of my unborn PYTs. Karma's reflection stares back at me as I look at the man in the mirror, banging my head off the wall when I remember the time at a Planned Parenthood clinic called Choices, a place where people go when they feel there's no other choice, located in Queens, on Queens Boulevard, which is also known as the Boulevard of Death. because of its high number of victims killed by hit and run. Never again will I hit and then run away from responsibility. I learned the hard way. Abortion is not birth control. It's having a piece of your soul suctioned out.
Well, that's mad deep. Mad. That's deep. I'm looking at everybody clapping and thumbs up here. I don't know if you can see what I see.
There's a postscript to the poem actually here. In 2001, a calendar year which numerically adds up to 3, the author of this poem, who believed himself to be barren after having 3 abortions, became the father of triplets, 1 girl, 2 boys.
Mad. You have tripped at the same 3 babies one time.
At the same time.
So you didn't sleep for how long?
Listen, the Canadian prison was a break.
Seriously.
No, they came after the Canadian prison. It was like going back to prison. I violated the terms of my parole.
I'm gonna see if I can get somebody on the spot here. Amina, I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm trying to unmute you.
She said a message about her phone is freezing.
No, I got. I'm sorry. I switched devices. I went to my computer. Wow. I'm over here just like into that poem 100%.
Thank you.
I felt it. I lived it, and I was in awe of the fact that you did not lose me for 1 minute, and it was a very long poem.
Thank you.
And, like, my experience in the poetry community has been that I write the longest poems.
They do be long, but they be good though.
But I just the story is not done, so I don't stop until it's done. And the story was not done until it was done. And I
like that.
I'm gonna get Amina. No, we have Amina.
I'm bowing out.
Oh no, another one. There's Amina.
We have another sister. Her name is Amina. I'm gonna ask her to say what she got to say too.
I apologize.
That's okay. Amina. Amina. Okay. Hey.
Hi. And I have a sister named Amira. So that's so
wow. Oh, man.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I really loved that piece because it felt. I'm trying to find a word. It felt like I was experiencing that young man's journey along with him through the poem, even though he wasn't there until the end. That makes sense. It felt like I could be in that person's shoes, even though we were talking about him. So I don't know. I've been thinking a lot just in general about the inner child that we all have, and how many of us will write about that inner child, but don't write from that inner child. And so I really appreciated the piece for being able to address what like younger you did and who he was, but also really realizing that that person is still alive, and that you're speaking on their behalf. I really love that. And I think that's hard to do.
Okay. And thank you for letting me put you on the spot. It's greatly appreciated. Now, Matt, you owe us one more poem. One more poem, Matt.
One more. This is it. 1 page, 2. This piece is entitled 24. 24-hour fitness. A chain of gyms with locations that close at midnight. She hung up on me at 11:59 p.m. because her dad said, if you're on the phone in the midnight hour, it's a booty call. 24, a TV show about counterterrorism agent Jack Bauer. His exploits aired for 204 episodes. Nat Turner, an enslaved freedom fighter, led a counterterrorism rebellion. He was hung. beheaded, and buried in an unmarked grave. 24/7, a song by rapper Meek Mill, in which Meek tells a woman who he's booed up with that he'll make love for 7 days straight.
Oh.
A woman told me straight up she wants a man who can screw for 240 minutes nonstop. I asked her, can the 4 hours be broken up into 12 and a half 19-minute increments? 24 years. The time spent behind bars for 2 Baltimore brothers wrongly convicted of murder. A Missouri man violated a child and received probation. His skin color performed magic. 24K Magic, the 3rd studio album released by R&B pop singer Bruno Mars. It features a song in which he sings strawberry champagne on ice. Excuse my singing, I know that's not the best. It features a song in which he sings strawberry champagne on ice. That's what I like, she said. We were discussing printing paper thickness. For her, only 24-pound paper will do. 20 is too flimsy, she said. I'm a writer. I treat my words with respect.
All right, Matt. Let me tell you what people are saying on because we're also on Facebook Live and YouTube. So this is what they're saying about you. Your head is really not that big. Rome is asking about potato salad. This is not potato salad, Rome. Okay. Somebody said that your poem was very deep, and other people are asking why can't they get into the Zoom room? I don't know why you can't get into the Zoom room. If you go to the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, neweurekan.org, and click on Published Poets, you should see a link to click on to get in. Come on and join us. I can pick with you. Okay. Also, I'm trying to look at the Facebook feed, do this and do that. So I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. I appreciate you, Matt. And this will be a time for me to shout out some more poetry books from back in the day.
You want me to go on mute?
I didn't mute the features.
Okay.
We have right here Eternals. Anybody remember Eternal from back in the day? First time I met her, she was at Serengeti Plains. She used to always rock this brown corduroy jacket. I don't know whatever happened to her, but she wrote her chapbook like this. She had pictures and things and poems. Okay. Back in the day at Bogies, it was a sister. Her name was Tara Jackson. I don't know whatever happened to her after Bogies, but this is her chapbook. James is shaking his head. You remember her?
Yes,
and
I do.
There's a brother from back in the day too named Akil.
Oh man!
Whatever happened to him? There's a rumor going around that his name might be James now, but you know, I'm just saying, you know, this is his book.
All stage names outed.
Selected Poems Under My Skin. Here's this picture you can't see right there, but you know, kind of look like James now. I don't know, you know. I keep on things.
What'd you say, Big Mike?
I said it's the same picture you still use.
Yeah.
No, I actually had twist in that picture back in the day.
Let me tell you what he wrote. He said to Helena, my first female poet that's the greatest. What? Yes, I am the greatest. Something about me being the greatest, so thank you. Okay, we can come back to you when it's your turn to feature. The next person coming to the Zoom Hollywood Squares, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Hollywood Square, forget you, that means you are an embryo. His name is Big Mike. Well, I call him Big Mike. Other people call him Mr. B. Some people call him Mike Bertram. I first met him, I want to say, at Serengeti Plains too. And I remember this one particular time that he was featuring. And Devin was real little, and now Devin has graduated high school. And it was Big Mike, it was Devin, Joel was there. You remember Joel, your nephew? And your wife was there too. And you was doing a poem about a Tickle Me Elmo being stuck up your butt. But long story short, I think you said something that Devin didn't like, and Devin went up to you and hit you. Like, that's my mommy. Do you remember that?
I do remember that feature.
Okay, so you know.
And then I remember when I called him a cock blocker, my wife stood up and said, "That's a lie."
And that might have been one of the few times that Madeline came out. So tell Madeline she needs to come out the house a little bit more. And
nah, she ain't coming out to see me do poetry.
Nah, she should come out and hang out with me. Okay, so Big Mike was also, for some strange reason, people used to confuse Big Mike with Gemini, and I don't see why. They look nothing alike, and their style of poetry is completely different. I think that you were being racially profiled, Big Mike.
I think it's our pale, glowing skin.
But you still look nothing alike. There's some people on here saying, hey, Stephanie Colin is on the Facebook feed, and Ron Neal said, Big Mike in the house, good to see you, brother. So shout out to Ron Neal, the artistic director of the New Rican Poets Cafe. Hey!
Hey! I heard you talking about me.
Because I love you. You need to come out more.
For what? For him? No way.
No, for me, to hang out with me. After work, we can to the curb and we can go get drinks or water.
And some hot wings?
Yes. Look at Big Mike's face. Okay, now for those of you who don't know, Big Mike has written, I think what he did was genius. Big Mike published a book, and he tied it into with him being a teacher. And I remember saying to him, well, you need to be at like every teacher conferences, every teacher this, write a curriculum, do this, do that. So, you know, I have nothing but love for Big Mike in a platonic way. I don't want Madeline coming after me. And when you was doing your feature on deaf poetry online, somebody said that you was one sexy motherfucker. So I just want to let you know that in case you didn't know, you was there, white boy crush as well.
White boy crushes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, but I've been rocking with Big Mike for a long time. The last show I did was for the Bohemian Festival, which is in January. And that was just before the COVID-19 crisis popped off. And Mike had me working. I was hiding from him in the background. He still came looking for me. He's like, I need you to do one more poem. But I would do anything for him because he's a good dude. So please put your cyber hands together. Show me some love. This is my old school Kappa Diamond, thing that I still do from time to time. All right, now, Big Mike, take it away. Boom.
Thank you, Helena. I appreciate it. You know, you were saying like giving back and, you know, being nice to people just out of respect for the craft. I'll never forget when we first started coming out, you know, you gave us your deaf poetry comp tickets when you were taping, when I was just starting. So, you know, things like that inspire people to keep going. So, yeah, now I'm here. And my book has been out for a minute called Said the Paper to the Pen. And it has illustrations by my daughter and my art teacher. So, yeah, you guys should pick it up. I'm going to read some from here. So there will be no F-bombs. There will be no Tickle Me Elmos. It will be all teacher and kid-friendly work. So Amir is a teacher. I'm a teacher. Any other teachers here? Hopefully you guys will enjoy this poem. This is one of my favorites. I wrote to keep me inspired throughout the year because, you know, teaching is, especially now under quarantine, it is crazy. But you have to remind yourself why you do it. And I wrote this to remind myself why I teach. If you asked me 25 years ago why I became a teacher, I'd give you that standard student teacher, fresh out of college, I love kids, can I please have this job answer? But 2 districts, 75 observations, and 663 students later, I know the answer to the question, why do I teach? I teach because the future comedians need an audience and drama queens need a stage. I teach because I love snacking recess and I'm fighting to bring back nap time. I teach because in the eyes of my students, war is just a card game and the worst thing to be is it. I teach because I like to answer questions. Mr. B, why do you wear that same shirt all the time? I only have 4 shirts. Why do you only have 4 shirts? I have 6 kids. Why do you have 6 kids? Man, take your math book out. I teach because homemade cupcakes are heaven and birthday smiles are priceless. I teach because every child is special and labels belong on the clearance rack. I teach because watching a student handle their pencil like a wand, transforming their print into cursive is magical. I teach because the corporate world is phony and kids are honest, too honest, but they love unconditionally. Where else can you have a bad day and still get a hug? Where else can you make up answers to questions you don't really know the answer to? And here, I have no choice but to smile. I wear a student-made necklace like a badge of honor and tape Crayola-scented pictures to my desk like they were paintings by Van Gogh. I teach because 8-year-olds have clay minds and I could shape them to believe that love is as simple as sharing your colored pencils and your rainbow goldfish. I teach because green eggs and ham are delicious, and the web that Charlotte wove is way more significant to American society than how many different shades of gray there are. You figure that out. I'll teach the importance of friendship. I hate lesson plans, but I love planning lessons. I've acquired a taste for school lunches and look out my window praying for snow days. I teach because of Sophia. Every day she hugged me, she told me she loved me, and said, Mr. B, I never want to leave the 3rd grade. This is the age of budget cuts, overcrowding, lost innocence, and dense ears. But from 8:30 to 2:55, I teach to leave a mark, have my students cemented in their hearts, and remember me forever.
Big Mike, Big Mike, Big Mike. Now, you've always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yeah, I would say since I was about early in high school when I started, working basketball camps and things like that, working with younger kids. Mm-hmm. So I actually was going to do early childhood education with preschool to K, where I would get a pre-K to 2. And then I was like, wow, they're really small and I might trip and fall and hurt one. And then I did middle school and I hated it because they were like going through puberty and they were very horny kids. And, now I'm in just elementary. I do 3rd grade. So yeah, I always know I wanted to do this.
I look forward to every year when you take your yearly school picture to see what wig you wearing. Oh, Smokey, stop that. Or are you wearing funny glasses or something? What does the principal say when your yearbook comes out and they're like, Big Mike, like, what's up with these pictures, son?
Yeah, one year they tried to stop it, but I'm untouchable. You got to make yourself valuable. You can't get in trouble. Mm-hmm. I'm the only man in the school. I get away with so much. It's fun. But, can't take school too serious. It's already serious enough.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let me tell you what people are saying about you on the Facebook Live thing. Okay, we got Irene Brown. How you doing, Irene Brown? She's saying these are very good reasons to teach. Nice job. You made me remember why I love my teachers. PG Nicole is saying teachers have profound impact on the minds of the youth. Yet the level of respect we receive is limited. Boom! Drop the cyber microphone right there. And indeed, Naomi, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, said, love this poem. Did I miss your performance? Amira has not performed yet. We got some people looking for you on the Facebook thing. Jaqueer, I'm wearing your shirt. Rebellious. Okay, all right. All right, Big Mike, we ready for your next 2 poems. Hit it.
So I'm actually going to do 2 really short ones, if that's cool.
Oh, okay.
In one shot. So one of the things that I like to try to do in my book is I tried to make it for teachers and students so they would both enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And I wanted the teachers to kind of use it as a resource. So what I often do in class is when I'm doing writing lessons, I rewrite some of the old classic poems that the kids find very boring. So I rewrote Tiger, Tiger by William Blake, which was written in like 1796 or something. So I wrote it to Teacher, Teacher, Mr. B, and this is how it goes. Teacher, teacher, Mr. B, always writing poetry. Bald and chubby creeps at night, devouring every donut in sight. He'll steal your snack right off your desk. Eat it, now there's nothing left. Teacher, teacher, Mr. B, that snack stealing bald guy writing poetry. So one of the things I do is, when I do my lessons, I always write with my class. I believe that any teacher, if you're doing a writing lesson, if you're not writing with your kids, then you're committing a crime, because if they have to do it, you should do it, and you have to lead by example and share. And a lot of teachers cop out as like, well, I'm not a good writer. Well, it doesn't really matter. You have to work with the kids and show them that you can make mistakes and you can grow with them. So I write every lesson we do, I write with them. So to stay on the snack stealing tip, because I love stealing snacks. It's going to be hard when this corona's over to not steal snacks from the kids. But this is called This Is Just to Say. And William Carlos Williams wrote a poem, This Is Just to Say, about the plums. So I rewrote this. For Nicole, the girl I steal snacks from. This is just to say I have eaten the little bites mini crumb cakes that were sitting on your desk, which indeed you were saving for snack time. Forgive me. The cinnamon scent swept slowly across the room, pulling my belly closer, 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 until they leaped out of the bag and into my mouth. Love, your greedy third grade teacher. So that was that little.
You really be taking the kids' snacks?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Don't you feel bad?
Oh, no, I tell them in the beginning of the year, I said, look, if you leave your snack unattended, I'm taking it. And if they bring healthy stuff, I stay away from it. If you bring in cookies and stuff, you leave it open. It's fair game, man.
Wow.
Fair game. I felt really bad, though, because I ate her whole bag of mini muffins, so I bought her a box.
Oh, my God.
Now, every year when she returns to visit me, she brings me a bag of mini muffins. So, it works out. But, I just try to incorporate all the things I do in classroom. But, another thing that's important to touch on in the classroom is the, social activism side. And when you talk to the kids about just being good people and the things that they can do. So I often talk about that in the beginning of the year, and we try to continue that, because activism doesn't have to be big and difficult to do. Activism is, treating everybody kindly, holding the door open. It doesn't, on a political level, we're on a whole nother level, but it starts when the kids are young. So we have to teach them what kind acts are. And, but I like to try to talk to the kids like they're young growing up. I don't do a lot of booger snot poems for them. So this poem is called What If? And it was actually inspired by Shel Silverstein. He's a great writer, kids poet, and he has the What If poem. And Helena, Rashida Darrow's What If poem, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I called Rashid and I was like, look, I got this poem I'm writing for the kids and I want to use the What If hook. So I used Rashid's hook, along with some inspiration from Shel Silverstein to kind of make this a socially relevant poem for the kids. So this is called, and I did it in a rhythmic way. I used a lot of rhyme in this to, help them follow along. So this is called What If? And it's got a little hook, what if, what if, what if, what if? What if up was down? What if black was white? What if we put these guns down and just held each other tight? What if war was just a card game and hugs were like drugs? What if the ocean was filled with laughter and continents filled with love? What if racism never existed? Man, wouldn't that be great? What if we could flip our pencils over and erase all this hate? Say, what if? What if? What if? What if? What if smartphones were dumb and we had no choice but to think? No texting, no Snapchat, we'd all be forced to speak. What if leaders stood united and checked their egos at the door? What if the rich weren't so rich and felt the pain of being poor? What if we stopped blaming others? What if we cherished education? What if respect was passed down from generation to generation? Say, what if, what if, what if, what if? What if poets pick their poems off a poetry? What if Helena looked like Mad and Mad looked like me? What if vegetables tasted like candy? Would broccoli rot your teeth? What if schools weren't so test obsessed and teachers could really teach? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm right? What if we're running out of time? What if we took this chip off our shoulders and enjoyed the sunshine? What if everything we see isn't really what it seems? What if nothing is really real and we're all living in a dream? Say, what if? What if? What if? And that's that.
All right, Big Mike. I got some feedback for you for the lovely folks on Facebook who are not on the Zoom. I don't know why. Y'all should come on and get on the Zoom. Irene Brown says, I love the jokiness of your poems. They really put a smile on my face. Ha. And PG Nicole says, if you have a curriculum, I'd love to get my hands on it. Here in Angola, and the kids don't have a lot of Black teachers, plan on working on a curriculum to facilitate a poetry after school activity so students can find their inner voice. However, I'm keen to borrowing one already created. Okay, well, I don't know what Big Mike has in place, but Big Mike, can you just tell the good folks of the cyber community how they can get in contact with you?
I have a website, www.mrbpoetry.com. I have an Instagram, Mr. B Poetry, at mr.bpoetry.com. Poetry, that's my IG. Yeah, and my book is available on Amazon, Said the Paper to the Pen. But, that's one of the things that, a lot of people have been telling me to use it as a curriculum. So the next book I was looking at writing, this is called Said the Paper to the Pen. I'm going to work on a journal which just talks about the lessons and how I did it and call it Said the Pen to the Paper and make it a journal / curriculum for teachers, but also where kids can just write in it. I want to have it so both teachers and students can use it at the same time, not just for one or the other. I feel like we have to blend it together.
Okay. Big Mike, do me a big favor. Can type in your info in the chat so everybody can see it. Matt, if you can do that for you as well. We didn't get all your info. Let me unmute you, my brother, so you can what is this? Ask to unmute. I just want to hit you.
Yes.
Oh yeah, your info. How can the people get you? Can they get your book? And can you type your info in the chat?
We'll do.
Okay. I think I need to shout out our lovely sponsors again. Helena D. Lewis and the New York Poets Cafe would like to thank the NEA, New York State Council on the Arts, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literacy Partnership, and New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You can support us with a tax-deductible donation at nuyorican.org or via Cash App. # New Rican Poets Cafe. And with that being said and done, clap up. Big Mike, thank you for your words. I know you're sticking around for the panel discussion. I'm going to unmute James right quick because he's up next. Yeah. And I was able to decipher your pen. This young man named Akil, who wrote this book, Selected Poems from the up-and-coming book Under My Skin. He wrote, and this is in 2001, to Helena, my first female poet that I had the greatest impact on me. Hope these words inspire you as much as you did me. Love is infinite. Akil. Aww. Tear.
Oh, man.
Tear. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
Are you surprised I still have it?
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise.
Dude, I got everything.
I see.
I got everything. I even have, are you ready for this? Rama Uncut by Flo Mentos.
Oh,
look at Flo with hair. And this is him being deep. He didn't write anything in the book. Knowing Flo, he was like, here, dog. But I did get a shout out in the back where he shout out all of the Bogies crew. Also, want to shout out real quick. I don't know whatever happened to her. Erica Osborne, Through the Eyes of a Black Woman. Erica Osborne. And then From the Gut by Helena D. Lewis. Shout out to James Asakule. He was the person who helped me with my chapbook. If you remember from back in the day, it was 6 different colors. I had all types of stuff going on inside. So that was that. But like I said, chapbook means cheap books. And we are celebrating the folks who have elevated themselves to self-published authors with their own books. So next on the list is James, used to be called Akil, James Ellebree. Yeah!
I tell you, you and Flo will not let me live that down. Yeah, that was my stage name back in the day. Helena is holding up the first edition of Beyond the Event Horizon, published in 2015. And this is the second edition of that same book, Beyond the Event Horizon, published recently, last year actually, under my own company, Not Enough Words, LLC. Beyond the Event Horizon is I like to say it's a poetic diary. It gives you a little bit more insight to why I wrote the pieces and what stages of life I was in. So it's a book that you have to read page by page. So I wanted to kind of capture that. And the first piece I'm going to do actually inspired the title because it's a line in the actual poem. So this is the one. It's not that she doesn't care. It's more like she cares too much. But it seems as if she has the whole earth on her shoulders. The whole young Black population on her shoulders. I've seen her spirit dance with the ancestors of past philanthropists, abolitionists, educators, and soul motivators. I've seen her give hope to hopeless children trying to survive streets with no heartbeat, as cold as concrete, where the crackheads are like the walking dead. And Thursday nights are gang initiation nights, and these children have no choice but to fight. And she is the light in their tunnel vision eyes. No motion of adversity, no mountain of doubt blocks her path. Her purpose was written amongst the stars, solidified by her actions. Thus, she is God's gift to our race. And even though she may face trial after trial, struggle after struggle, I know she will survive. She keeps my hope alive, for I bear witness to her greatness, which is love. And when I'm in her presence, all I feel is love. She's like a modern day Harriet Tubman, bringing our children to the promised land. And she may deny her strength, but I don't. She may forget about our past, but I won't, for it is etched in my mind. I find comfort in her, because in this black hole of a world, she is my new horizon at the end of an event horizon. She is my walk through heaven after a walk through hell. And when she walks, she dances to Dizzy Gillespie's A Night in Tunisia with every step. And when she probes my mind, she telepathically opens my mind to her divine. And I can walk through 1,000 landmines to protect her. She can let her tears saturate in me. So like Sade, she would feel no pain and could lose the whole world, but have me to gain. I've seen countless people thrive off her energy. She brings symmetry to this world of chaos, and it's no wonder why I love her. And it's because of this love, I would go to the chair for her. This love burns an eternal. She sends an inferno through me as she soothes me with every seductive tone. And every chromosome in my body believes she is the one for me. She is the teacher, the lover, all entwined. She is the hope and the desire in my mind. My Asada Shakur's, my Betty Shabazz, my Alice Walker. And every day I'm striving to be her Malcolm X, her Langston Hughes, her David Walker, just to name some. I want us to have no endings, only new beginnings, whether in friendship or in love. Body and mind, heart and soul, we will always be together, the one.
James, can I call you James?
Yes.
You know what I love about when you perform? You're always so passionate about everything that you do on the microphone, in person, even cause we talk later. James is a night owl, so sometimes I get to talk to him a little bit before his wife be like, James, get off the phone, you know. So he's just very passionate, and even from the early days of Bogies, there's very few people that you don't hear anything negative about. And you have always been someone that everyone has always said the same thing. Yo, he's a cool dude. Like I traveled across the country, and I have yet to hear anybody say anything about you. And you don't steal anybody's snacks.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Shut up, Big Mike.
We wasn't talking about you.
Okay. That's a lie. That's why we call him Black Big Mike.
Black Big.
Oh no. Well, let me see what here.
White James Ellerby.
Well, I want to say, Kendall, Naomi. I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Kendi.
Said, say it again for me. Kendi. Oh, that's not what I said. Well, this person said, my big brother James, one of my favorite people on the planet.
Oh, wow.
Heart sign. So that just is a further affirm that you are well loved in this poetic community.
To be honest, I got that from you and Big Mike, because y'all have always been good people, and that's the thing about poetry. You don't have to be ugly people in poetry. You can actually be, good people and treat people the way the way that you want to be. So I got that from both of y'all. So.
And I got it from my mama. Woo! May she rest in peace. Who you get it from, Big Mike?
I didn't realize I was a nice person, but I probably got it from my mother.
Okay, well, James.
I was gonna say one of the things I love about James is that, he is constantly growing and trying to improve his craft. Like, he doesn't settle for one style or one way, and he's like consistently asking people or talking to people about how to hone his craft. Man, that's like one of my favorite things about him as a writer and performer.
And sometimes he'll just call you to say, hey, don't want nothing.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh yeah.
Don't want nothing.
He's really one of the glue people in New Jersey that I think people need to understand, with his Jersey calendar up, and he's the person who has the connections from North Jersey to Central Jersey to South Jersey. He knows everybody. I started following James around.
Yeah, I said, and
he took me to a place in Keyport one time. I was like, whew, there's a lot of scary white folks here. And he was like the only black dude. And I was like, oh my. And it was like, he knew everybody. So James is the man. He's really the glue of Jersey. I don't know if he knows that, but I'm telling him now.
And he's also the link between the early, like I call it the golden age of poetry, and that for me starts at, not that it started with Bogies, like 98, 99, but Jay's never left the scene. Like, myself and some other people, like we kind of like left the Jersey scene to perform in different states that we got love at, people moved around, but James always was the one who can connect the old triple OGs with the up and coming triple OGs. So I already respected that about him. Okay, well, yep. James, enough of us kissing your booty. Can you go on and do your next two poems?
All right. So you brought up my prior stage name. This poem's also in the book. The first one was on page 133. This one is on page 55. But this was written around the time that I was using my old stage name, Akil the Poet. It's Arabic for the one who reasons. And it's a true testament of me stepping it out of being more emotional and into more introspective poetry. So this one is called Outer Space in Outer Space. Some say my mind is in outer space. I say my mind is out of space. Space and time, mere extensions of this world. My thoughts contain mysteries of dark matter, that which is invisible, but whose forces interact with every celestial body. Kind of like Black people, society's dark matter made to be invisible, but whose power and influence is felt. Or like black holes, powerful, unseen, and unknown. Blacks are synonymous with the afterthought, or the thought after the afterthought, only thought about when someone happens to ask, did you think about them? Some say my mind is in outer space, pondering frivolous statements like, all roads lead to Rome, when it's more like your roads should lead to home, because that's where the heart should be. Kind of like the road to perdition, the road to perfection, to realization. You see, it's nice to put things into perspective. Some say my mind is in outer space. I say my mind is outer space. Space and time, mere extensions of this world. For instance, you got to be at such and such a place at such and such a time, when cells are said to change, replace themselves. So who's really at such and such a place at such and such a time? And how would that relate to clones? If they're replicas of us, and the only thing constant is change, then that would mean your clone isn't a replica at all. All your thoughts and instincts are a thing of the past. See, I know what you're thinking. I have truly lost my marbles. But if madness is close to genius, then call me a mad genius. My mind is in outer space with thoughts of UFOs, cornfields, and crop circles. But I'm more scared than Mel Gibson that a monster can be outside my window, when a monster could be inside my bedroom, sleeping in the same bed. And I think of things like ancient Kemetic societies and how in the Mummy, Imhotep was made to be the villain, though his very name means the one that comes in peace, analyzing disturbing behavior and comparing and contrasting to my own deficiency. See, I'm in search of the lies that lie beneath the truth. I'm in search of the lies that lie beneath the truth. Because how can you know the truth without testing it against the lie? My mind is in outer space because my third eye keeps blinking, thinking of things, people, places, and things. But don't turn off the lights, because I see dead people at night. People who pave the way for people like me to live, who whisper in my ears that it's time for me to give that which they already gave. Then so it begins. Then I turn my thoughts, translate them into actions, only taking a fraction of the time to process in my mind what I write on paper. Then download the excess information so I may upload some more, so my thoughts can have more room, more memory. But you still think I'm in outer space. You still think I'm out of place, when maybe it's your mind that has too much space and not enough thoughts to fill it. Outer space and outer space.
Woo! You better go ahead, James. Yeah, I saw he was like, oh, like you. I love it. Oh my goodness, James, you have grown so much, man. Like you are on some other stuff. That's how I'm gonna describe you. I'll be like, James, also known as Akil, is on some other stuff. So that's all I got to say. All right, let me pick with somebody real quickly. Let me harass Miss Deborah, my friend up there in North Carolina. I'm gonna unmute her and see what she thinks about your poetry. Oh, what if I unmute somebody and they don't like you? That would be kind of like messed up, right? I'm trying to unmute Miss Deborah, but it ain't working.
Okay, there it is.
Okay. Hi, Miss Deborah. What's the weather like in North Carolina?
Oh, it's hot.
It's hot. Does anybody ever say what happened to the girl who did the midnight poetry jams?
Oh, yes, they want you back so bad. And if I could afford it, I would bring you back. Oh my God, for April, for National Poetry Month, you know.
That daggone COVID-19. I lost all my gigs. I literally lost like $10,000 in like 1 month. Like, but you know, I'd rather have my health.
Oh, why don't you just brag about it, Helena? Gee.
I was like, no, for real, she is very good. Everyone miss her. And it hasn't been the same really at the Midnight Poetry Jam, you know.
I'm doing a show later on in August called No Host Bar, where I'll be having hosts from across the country who are, a lot of times people think that we just host shows. So we're gonna be doing poems, we're gonna be talking about the art of hosting. And we have Chance on there. The Princess of Poetry is gonna be one of my artists for that day as well. So you definitely, and I have some things to say about, you know, make sure your contract is right and people know that you're doing the work. So when shit hits the fan and you get kicked to the curb, because people have the right to recast you, but you recast me and didn't know everything. You know what I'm saying? But it's all right. I learned a lot and I met a lot of nice people like you, for example, you know? But what do you think about my man James right here? Okay.
Oh, it was very good. I was inspired. I'm listening in here because I need to get my book, but since I'm an amateur poet, I'm afraid that it just won't sell as well. And they won't get some of the message like Safari. Would they get what I'm trying to, the tongue thing that I do? Because you can't put it in writing.
Well, you know what? That's something that we can discuss when we hit the panel discussion. I know that some of these poets also have books with CDs inside or links to where you can download virtual poems as well for them. So we can talk about that as well. So
I think James sells cassette tapes too.
It wouldn't surprise me. And he got t-shirts, but this is Jakil's t-shirt, but I have a James t-shirt too. Okay, so Mr. Bora, when we click and hit the panel discussion, we're gonna click you first. Woo! Let me mute you back up real quick. Now, James, you did your 3 poems, correct?
Well, I did 2.
Well, come on, hit me with the last one.
Okay.
Hit me with your last poem. Oh, why don't you hit me with your last poem? Come on, Smokey.
This is a shorter one. It's not in my book or on my album. I just held up my album, Pulsar. That's my first spoken word musical album. You can get that on my website, and I posted that in the comments. But I wanted to give something hot off the press, and I'm going to do this. My wife encouraged me to do it, so I'm going to do it for her. It's an ode to Miles Davis, and it's called Miles Away, and it's also my appreciation for jazz music. So we're going to do it, and we're going to do it with one of Miles Davis' classic tracks, Freddie Freeloader. So hope you like it.
See, look at James with the sound cues.
Miles Away, ode to Miles Davis. You always is miles away, when my love for you is miles ahead. Trying to squeeze parts lips together made out of your love. I loved you like Miles loved his trumpet. Waited for you to see the king in me while your heart sang, someday my prince will come, but not soon enough. My melancholy muse, life is bleak. You gotta play the scales. You gotta play the scales. Play me like more better blues. You never knew what you wanted. An organized confusion to my Pharaoh Monch, like the organized confusion of bees brew. Life is a bee and an itch someone has to scratch. Your love was always my lack. You always seemed miles away, when my love for you was miles ahead, leaving the atmosphere to reach your stratosphere. 32 miles of miles, compiled out of broken dreams, broken promises, brokenness, a clutter of clutter, a boat with no rudder, a smile in reverse. You were the worst note I ever played with my emotions, paved my roads with asphalts and years of pain. I was your Miles, You left me like Coltrane to innovate your new you, your new view. You had me feeling kind of blue. You always was miles away, never was adjacent. Step to the left like a G clef, or better yet, left me hanging, bass clef. You're sketchy like sketches of Spain. So I wrote your bad notes in my notebook, poured bird on every word, blew you away like dizzy till I was no longer dizzy. I parked this ride like Charlie parked her on the other end of a saxophone to no longer hear my moans like a trombone at rest. You always was miles away, but instead of chasing you east, I decided to turn west. You're always miles away. You're always miles away.
James, you got a shout out from Rome Neal from the New Rican Public Cafe. The artistic director says, you got me, James, jazz, baby, I can dig it. Woo! And in the interest of time, I'm going to move on to our next performer because I want us to have at least a good 30 minutes or 20 minutes for our panel discussion. Sean Battle. I'm trying to remember, how did we first meet? And it eludes me. I want to say the Cry Out Cafe or Slammetry. It was Slammetry. And I remember when I tiptoed into the world of being Professor Helena D. Lewis, Sean Battle was the first person I reached out to and asked for advice about my syllabus and things of that nature. And what I remember him saying was, if you need any help, just call me. So I just want to say, I want to thank you for that. And I try to mentor other people because people of color, when it comes to the world of academia, we make up less than 5% of the professional teaching force. And I don't know what it means when it comes to adjuncting, because it seems like most schools are going for adjuncts to save money. But I do know overall, there's many days that I'm on campus where I am clear and I know for a fact that I'm most likely the only Black person on campus that my students. And it's important for students of all colors to see people of different ethnic backgrounds on campus because they get different points of view. So I just wanted to thank you for your help. I can't say enough about Sean Battle. He's always doing something, always hosting a show. I'm over here. Here's his book, Profess. I also have Big Mike's book and Matt's book, but when I cleaned out my car, Purple Rain, to put everything in Silver Goddess, your books was in the back seat of my car because I was using them at work with the clients. I take poems and use them as opening discussions for some of my groups. So I was using your poems, and they never transferred into my car. Sorry, but I do have Profess, and I wanted to shout that out. See, Profess, I got your book. Okay, all right. Please clap it up and give your cyber love and Hollywood Square loves for Sean Professor. Oh, you said you're not going by Professor Battle anymore, right? Okay, Sean Battle. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Lewis, for this opportunity, and thank you all for being here. And the fact that I was able to help you, Doctor, in terms of being in the classroom, that really means a lot. I personally, I have moved on from academia as a whole. I am no longer in the teaching journey. It was clashing too much, I found, with what I truly felt was activating me, and that was the arts. But definitely I have respect for you, respect for Mr. B and Envy and Mr. Mira, and every teacher that's still out there going through it and going to it for the children. You have my love and respect. I just gotta be of service elsewhere. For the second time, and some of you may get this, I know 2 people will, let me be on my Vince Russo shit and swerve y'all with poem number 1 being new shit from book number 3.
What? He got 3 books.
One's in the works. Wounded. Black Lives Matter, splattered yellow on strips of pavement, is pandering in place of policy change. Just say you don't want to try something new by abolishing police in its current form and go. I'm tired of colorful visuals clouding visions of fairness. rename the teen, rebrand the syrup, solicit Black writers to publish in journals normally as white as the pages they print on. Social justice is good for business now. A game to measure wokeness, see who gives better worded empty promises to acknowledge troublesome times, then time how long before someone asks, "This you?" in the caption of the receipt, the ghosts of bullshits past and present. I mean, at least there are those clear in their grim reaper hooded visions of future for my folk, something to shoot and stomp to protect entitled resources. Nah, it's you so-called allies who quake at the no peace parts of no justice, no peace I be worried about. Ancestors hexing your privileged foundation. Your liberal ears bleed like your hearts when ordered to empty pockets. Stand aside so others take office jobs. Be intentional in hiring beyond the pale and male without defaulting to roles like chief of diversity. If all you have for decadence are black-faced band-aids, sit your suburban ass down in your gated communities whose security sees Black folks as strangers in search of a house to rob. It's obvious our concise demand to be seen as human beyond dollars and donated organs is too inconvenient for a life absent fear of genocidal hatred that exists the moment questions from a Black mother are ignored by her white doctor. Thank you. Helena, you're muted.
I'm muted because I was laughing at your poem, but do you know how many people die of color because their medical issues are being ignored, or like women are like, "Oh, I have pain," and the doctor is like, "Oh, you're fine," and then you're like, they're like this. Look it up. Let me be quiet. Sean, proceed.
Oh man. Okay. This is page 33 from my very first book. Full-length collection, I should say. I had a chapbook in my college days that's no longer in print, but my first full-length collection was what the hell? The Forest of Bricks. This was also my MFA thesis when I was doing my MFA in poetry at Rutgers Newark. The collection focuses on the fact that no matter what you go through, no matter how you were born or where you were born, no one is exempt from strife. It's how you respond to it that determines who you are. Self-portrait. As a lab rat who chose to starve when vegetables were served over McDonald's. I'd rather be in the sewers like my ancestors, like my cousins. But even there, the waste is vegan. Don't get me wrong. There's still some fatties who don't know when to quit, but the good stuff is so hard to find. I am not that road-running rodents like my great-great-grandfather whose slaughter came out of spectacle. Terriers trapping its tail between paws, his body speared by jaws. This was when my ancestors didn't have time to differentiate chicken fingers from severed fingers. They were just trying to survive. But for weeks, I've been kept awake by this bark in my stomach. It's appalling enough how I am poked and prodded to test all these drugs, to feed me green and orange sticks. I'd rather dance with terriers than fall for this, for I know where the pesticides lie. Colored rods codenamed carrot and celery. Their mission? Make me a more acceptable brown rat. But history shows my ancestors with golden arches drawn onto red boxes, Big Macs with a side of fries kept my heritage alive. Foolish of me to think these white coats would respect that. I'd rather have my tummy be a terrier, digest my organs with its jaws. May this be my martyrdom, so that in the future, when orders for surrender are growled and snarled, I am celebrated through defiant squeak, squeak, squeak. Squeak! Squeak! Thank you. This last one is from Profess, which answers the question. This last one is from Profess, which asks the question, what happens when everything that you've learned up to this point is either outdated or outright lies? All I'll say for this is, rest in peace, Bria Blackberry Molasses Knight, a New York poetry legend. U-N-I-T-Y, U-N-I-T-Y, that's a unity, U-N-I-T-Y, there is no community without that Jersey unity, U-N-I-T-Y, U-N-I-T-Y, that's a unity, U-N-I-T-Y, there is no community without that Jersey unity. Life is what you give every day, yet so easily we seem to take it away. And so I say to you, Black woman, I apologize. I apologize for every bit of betrayal forced on us by overseers, yet continued by willing hands that look like ours. The whispers given to me by matriarchs of melanin like you fall short in being reciprocated. Our village left lopsided in love given. So swift you are to comfort all into healing, no matter the medicine's taste. Composition thick like skin against time, no crack in sight. You hold on to holding on till family is fed in body and spirit. When us Black men lift off, you've been there to catch us as we land like rocks breaking through the atmosphere. More than reproduction, I dare not deem you female as a slur. You are human. You are woman. Poke your eyes, they water. See our children be poked by bullets. Your nails become daggers. Elevation means recognizing the foes you face inside and outside our ranks. From this, you love enough to hold all accountable. Dare not allow activists to throw nigger in the coffin without making room for bitch. Black woman, no name shall be given to you in which consent was not given by you, not even the one on your birth certificate. Rewind. Black woman, no name shall be given to you in which consent was not given by you, not even the one on your birth certificate. To enter a home, honor its customs wherever you reside. Your life is your home. With your home, only you decide when to invite, when to close off. Please know that I value any time you choose to give. Lioness of the diasporic dark, you are the true crown maker, the real ruler, commanding protection of kingly roars. With every hunt you lead. I speak of this to say thank you, and to pledge I will keep my end of the promise to evolve our circles together. For without your energy, balance, shit, balance is impossible. U-N-I-T-Y, U-N-I-T-Y, that's the unity, U-N-I-T-Y. There is no community without the churchy unity, U-N-I-T-Y, U-N-I-T-Y, that's a unity, U-N-I-T-Y. There is no community without you. life. Thank you.
All right. And for those of you who don't know, Blackberry Molasses, correct? Sean, that I'm saying her next stage right. We lost her. I mean, like she was Jersey. Like I'm doing a show on the 18th called I'm So New Jersey. If she was still here in this physical plane, she would have been on her just unique, always giving, loving, down for the cause, down for Jersey. Also, rest in peace, A-Train. Rest in peace, Mana Travis. Rest in peace, Israelite. We've lost so many people over the last couple of years, and that is just affirming to the fact that we don't know when our time is going to be called. So enjoy every second of every moment that you've had, because it is truly a gift from the God of your understanding. All right, Sean. People are saying absolutely love this. James Ellery says the rap poem is my favorite one from Sean. Why would he say that? And he's right here on the Zoom. And and somebody else is talking about they agree with us that Black women are dying way too much due to poor health by people who are not people of color. Before I bring on our next performer, I know that she also has this Facebook group called Vintage Photos, and I would like to start off by showing a vintage photo of Starsky. He goes by the name of Tayshawn Glover now, but I met him at Bogey's. He was too young to get in, and we had to sneak him in. He used to wear these Superman t-shirt, and I could still see Steve Puffy Downs in the back cursing him out like, "Why are you wearing that shirt? Like, you're not supposed to be doing that." And on the other side is a grown-up picture of Starsky. Well, he doesn't look like this anymore because he's older now, but here's another picture of Starsky. But his book was called Development. And while I'm here, I want to shout out the Hebrew Mamita. This is the fabulous Vanessa Henry, who also has a one-person show. This is her book. I actually used this as part of my MSW class for a presentation I did. And they were like, "Where did you get a book written of poetry by a person that was Jewish?" And I was like, "Poets come in all shape, colors, forms, and religious. Don't do that." And my man Ayaba, 41 times. To see him do this poem from his chapbook is something that is amazing. You will be forever moved if you ever seen him do 41 times. And that is from when Sean Bell was shot 41 times. Okay. Amira, I hope you know that I was talking about you when it came to the vintage photography. I think I first met you. I want to say I don't know where I first met you, but like I remember talking to you at the Orange City Hall, a show that Justice was doing, and I felt like that I've known you forever. Like you're just like a person that you can go to. You're down to earth. You always helping. You have that soothing voice. Like I can be like, "I'm gonna blow this mother freaking building up," and you'll be like, "No, sister, don't do that." And you'll be like, "Maybe I shouldn't." So she has a fabulous book that I can't find it. Breathing Through Concrete. I highly recommend it, just like all of our performers. What I love about her narrative is that because of her extensive background of working with the urban youth, she's giving it to us from a different perspective. Look, everybody pulling out their I want to tell you that when I ordered my book, I felt a little bad that other people were putting pictures on Facebook like, "Oh, I got my book." I was like, "Well, where's my book?" So because I'm petty like that. So it is with great pride and pleasure that I welcome this sister to Published Poets. Please clap it up. Give your cyber love to and your hearts to Amira.
Hey guys, good evening. Thank you all for coming. Helena, this is a boss show. I'm happy to be here. And yes, I am the author and the illustrator for Breathing Through Concrete. And the stories, it's an anthology of poetry about urban youth, stemming from having suffered the loss of a child of mine to gun violence in the city of Newark, and all the stories of the children that I teach throughout the years. So without further ado, I'm gonna do the first poem, and it's usually done in a 2-voice poem with Elliot Fant, but I'm gonna do my part of it, and it's called My Son. Should you live or should you die? No tears from these eyes shall cry, I know legacies. I bent at towering, bending trees, resistant to my spreading legs, birthing you into tough black mud. So your melanin clung and smeared and captured spaces left bright by untouched sun. You, my son, I breathed into your soul strength and breath and life and legacies of short existences while ancestors hold you down, holding you not to drown in this life. They call them kings, yet they strangle them with rings, and streets grab your ankles and track you through jungles just so that you can try to make it home. The hunters draw their bows, striking limbs and piercing hearts through shouts of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. But you matter to me, that color passed on legacies of Blackness. My favorite color it used to be. I fold my dress neatly stroked with soft cushions on calloused hands, holding, and folding, palms up in prayer, matching garments with veils, waiting to cover my wells. And your color be white so angels can find you and carry you through the night. My eyes don't close, they have no right as long as you are out there. Black mothers, your sons through tats and war scars are ours. Don't martyr your love, send them forth and above. They deserve life. Legacies torn. You cannot have my king. I refuse songs of sorrow to sing. Son, if you should not make it through the valley, fear not, I stand tearless at the rally. Spear in hand, trigger on spot, no fear in my heart. I've planned this for some time now. This land will give me back what I claim to be mine. You, my son, are a child of God, deserving love, life, and victory. So no, should you live past me or should you die before? I am prepared, spear in hand, to give you life. So that was the first one, and it's called My Son. And I think it's self-explanatory of every mother living in urban setting and sometimes non-urban settings with sons that we really are fearful when they leave our homes because we're not quite sure if they'll be returning. Mm-hmm. So that's what that narrative is about. Helena, I'm not sure, should I go on to my next one or?
Yeah, hit your next 2 posts, but listen, they are loving you on Facebook. Let me see. Kendi says she writes with so much passion. Y'all need to get her book, Breathing Through Concrete. Jaquir is giving you clap, clap, and fire. He put some fire on that. Fire!
Thank you. I'll post the link in a second. The next poem, like all the poems are similar because they're from urban stories. The next poem is called The People Looked On. The people looked on, their eyes tracing chalk lines on streets so near, touching the toes of their feet, soaking in trauma like wet sponges left in dirty sinks, and the people looked on. The cold sponge keeps pain and loss trapped that dawn cannot yet wipe out. As it rises souls from cracks in streets, and the people look on. Eyes soaked with burning pain, tears from suds of lost residue and souls seep out and run down concrete streets into the basin of the souls of the city, and on and on and on. And finally someone yells through the stilled silence, but it's Be Still Monday, through a cracked voice of pain, and the people looked on. And I saw a mother cry, breathing in pain from the cavity of her bosom, tired from screaming. I'm dying inside, she claimed. And the people looked on. And yet another yelled, no, it's Tuesday. and the people looked on. So maybe therein lies the problem of it all, paralyzation because of internal separation. Maybe we've lost track of days, burdened by time that's been laden with pain, laden with distraction, laden with self-consumption. Maybe the days have lost their names. They fade into one another, one big lump of minutes. Used to get more clout, stuff, power, to make more hope, potential, joy, life. What an uneven exchange, but it's the way it is. Because instead of redefining and reclaiming our time collectively, the people just look on, and we do us, and they do us, and they do us live on Facebook. They record our speaks, twisted truths with naked facts disregarded, and the people look on and on and on, and the statistics of war, the Teflon century grows. Our little wooden soldiers with Teflon hearts and bulletproof fingertips pointing death at each other's neck. No one has taught them to use words to resolve conflict, fighting over streets that belong to people who don't look like them, killing each other over colors that belong only truly to the rainbow. And the people looked on, and the mother in unbelievable anguish sinks to the ground on her knees, bony fingers cover her face, tears flowing like a river of pain. She looks to heaven and screams out, "Help me, help, help." And the people look on, but heaven can't help her. It only awaits her. And help is nowhere to be found, and the onlookers with cameras in their hands, vying for who can get the most likes, and the people look on and on and on and on, seeing reflections in letters of gold, shimmering, beautiful, hope of mattering, and the people looked on. Excerpts from a poem written by mothers from Newark.
Woo!
So, I want to do this other one that I call Seconds Clean. And the background for this poem is children. And Helena, let me just do the poem. Helena, you tell me what you think about this one after it's done, because it's definitely in your neck of the woods. Seconds Clean. They be clapping, saying and celebrating your years clean. Yay, you did it. But I sit silent with applause inside my eyes. Clap, clap, clap. Each clap like thunder rippling with my heartbeat. But here's to you. You with your underlying abuse, freedom. And here's to me, because I still walk around with this monkey on my back. Yet you be free. I'm still caught in chains of burnt out pain. Mom, I haven't been freed. I'm still tied to leaning poles, holding the geometry of life by the angle side, 90 degrees of childhood loss, non-tilted straight up rays of madness. I hold on to the angles of spent realities, reality to keep them from falling and catching my tears as they slide down poles, dripping but never, ever hitting earth, ever. But I'm strong. I have the strength of a child's essence of burnt-in fortitude of being silence, of tears that run inside, of fear of no way showing love without showing hate, of self, of fear of you returning to her, the monster of my youth. She still hides under beds and closets and in the threads of my worn out knees. I suck in snot wells through black holes that should be eyes with souls dripping, leaving paths uncovering cold shavings which cover my heart when I'm allowed to breathe. I choke up you. I fear seeing leaning poles because they remind me, each and every one of them, of you. Endless corners with cans, EBT cards, newspapers, kids' clothes, mine. You selling them for crack, not food. Mom, I'm 0 minutes, 0 days, 0 months, 0 years free. No one ever freed me. I sit in silence while you are praised. With weak-ass excuses for my hell, I stood silent through it all. Where's my applause? My award of a super effed up life that taught me 2 things: how to live and how to fight for life. when hands lift and before they meet again, vibrating sounds which creep into my cold mind of a heart, you glance at my silence. It holds secrets. Its clap is like thunder with the strength to crack and break through silence, so I see how you might be scared. Scared for me to speak. But we are grateful we made it. Made it past late evenings of street walks, 2 a.m. freedom calls, missed class trips, deep nods through parents' meetings, yours, those gold stockings with holes you wore to pick me up from school. Well, at least you came. And that Afro-matted wig you wore to my graduation, smelling like a spilled drinks of salvation, the fights I get into at the kids' Snickers about you, the hunger for food, the hunger for food and life, the pain of being a child from the temporary motherless clan, your skeleton frame, your toothless grin, my never new clothes, my unkept 6-year-old self, your screams through playground fences at my lunchtime recesses, me pretending not to know you, my missed school days, my smells, your smells, my reflections in mirrors, hoping never, ever, ever to become you. My screams the day they took me from school in that black car, from you. Black clouds of thunder scared, left lonely last night and the other night and the other night and the other night and the other night when you didn't come home for me. 8 years of foster care, 12 years of blank black stares, 20 years cleansed, 20 nights of tears and heart screams, 20 years of living me without you. I hear the claps and the congrats and I smother the rage within, warming the cold deep within, begging to take form and push forth my diamond. It's like the irony of saying happy birthday to a child when the mom bore all the pain, except mine is in reverse. Yeah, they be clapping and I be sitting still, waiting for the encore.
Oh, wow, that's deep. Listen, now you gotta maybe put on my doctor hat. Boop. So when we talk about complex trauma, and when like people, there's complex trauma and then there's post-traumatic stress disorder. There's two different things. Complex trauma usually occurs when a child, that first relationship that they have with a caretaker has been violated in some way. Like children expect that their parents should be able to take care of them. And when that doesn't occur, that causes complex trauma that manifests in their adult lifehood. And we don't necessarily always remember the events, but our body holds the memory and we react to it with anxiety, with trying to self-medicate, with having this illusion that it might have been something that I've done wrong. You know, so very powerful. I would definitely use that in one of my classes with my clients. Keep writing. You know, we have to talk about these things, and people of color, sometimes we are dissuaded from going to therapy, like take it to Jesus. But what if you need Jesus and therapy? Why can't we have both? No, so that's just what I have to say about your poem. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful illustration of complex trauma and how it manifests to adulthood.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Wow.
Okay, take off my doctor hat. Boop.
Yep.
Just want to shout out Trini the Professor. I haven't seen you in so long. I see you on the Facebook thingy here. And before I go into the panel discussion and unmute Ms. Deborah for her first question, if you have any questions here that you want to put in the private chat or raise your hands, I can call you. I want to show you Stacey Ann Chin. This is her chat book. She was part of the 1999. She didn't win the slam. Kirk Nugent won the slam, but she was part of the slam team, and she was also the slam and the finalist. Emanuel Xavier, he published this book in 1997. I first met him when I was part of a team of New Eurekan Poets Cafe that went to Love Jones for the Love Jones Slam in Florida, and we beat the slam. We didn't want to go initially because it was the same week that the national that the Grand Slam finals was going on, which was in 1999, and Kirk Nugent won that. But Emanuel Xavier was the first poet that I met that was like openly gay, was writing about it, and he was just a fantastic. He's still alive. Here's his picture. He doesn't look like that anymore, and because I travel across the country back in the day, want to shout out Renea L. Moss. This was her book. She told me when I went back to Florida, she said a conversation that we had made me write title my book In Your Face. She basically said that people were saying to her that she didn't know, what should I write the title? And she was feeling some kind of way. And I was like, fuck that shit. Write it whatever you want to write. If you want to call it In Your Face, then write it in your face because it's your fucking book. It might have been a lot of more profanity because I was a little more gangster back then. So she shared that with me, and I don't remember having that conversation with her. So you impact people when you don't even know it. And I want to shout out my girl, Rashida Bartley. I haven't seen her maybe when my grandmother, my mother's last daughter's sister passed, and I went to Florida. My family was driving me crazy. I found out that she had an open mic. I went to it, and she put me up on the open mic so I basically featured down there, and it was a good time to get away from the drama of the business of death. And just shout out to Rashida. I still have your book. All right, now, with that being said and done, I'm going to unmute for our panel discussion. Thank you all, everybody here that participated in this event. It's 8:46. This is going to end at 9 o'clock. I am going to ask Jason if we can go 5 minutes over because I think we need at least 15 minutes for a panel discussion. So if you can stick around, thank you. If you can't, I understand. So Mr. Bora, going back to you and your initial question about your cadence and stuff, let me unmute you.
Okay.
I'm asking to him. Okay, there you go. Hit it, Mr. Bora.
Okay, great job, everyone. It was food for the human soul. I enjoyed it, and I hope I can get myself together and put my book together. My first question, I would like to know, what inspired you to write if you have writer's block?
Okay, who wants to take that first? Let me unmute all of the panelists. Okay, Jay, I'm unmuting everybody. So when I ask to unmute yourself.
I'll take the question first. In regards to writer's block, time. I literally allow myself to be patient and let things come to me. Definitely had to do that in regards to Stay Safe 19. I will not call this virus by its actual name. Not gonna give it power. Had to do that and just get out of my own head. And it got to a point where I just said, okay, these ideas are flowing through me. Let me just push myself and actually start writing. So then it's just whenever they come, I just write them right down, right then and there. Don't worry about the quality. Wrote something today, actually, right before I got on the stream. But literally, it's giving myself the time to process certain things and allow myself to be human. The writing will come when it's time.
Okay. All right. Mr. Moore, you have another question?
How can you aspire someone to write?
I can take that if y'all don't mind. You can't inspire anybody to write, because you can say you should do this and do that, and they still won't do it. You as an artist, you as somebody who wants to write, you have to first be your first inspiration. And when you become your first inspiration, what you do then is seek out people who's doing what you're doing and ask for their advice. But every day, and even if you're not writing a book or writing poems, I recommend you keep a journal. Not just like Facebook, Twitter, here, I'm at the coffee cave, but literally sit down and write down your thoughts of the day. Because if you ever decide to write a book or a poem or a collection or anything, you can always go back to what you wrote back in the day, and that might be your inspiration for something. Y'all want to add?
Yeah,
I was going to say, from the standpoint of a teacher, my job is to get them to write. So I try to take pieces of writing that are phenomenal or small poems that they can kind of emulate and say, look, if this person can do it, you can do it too. And just kind of lead them to an area where it makes them feel comfortable. And then it goes back to my thing of always trying to write with them, because if I'm trying to do something, they'll try to do something. And, I always find like a collaboration of people coming up with ideas or jumping into a poem or a group piece, like I've done many times with a lot of the poets in Jersey. They inspire me. So I just jump onto some of their things too, to keep my inspiration and writing going.
Okay.
That's Amira.
Go ahead, Amira, hit it.
See, one of the things that as an educator, like we should have this conversation with those in charge of schools, because they require children to write every day. They require children to write obscenely when they don't feel like writing. It's exactly what you said. Like, what do you do to conquer writer's block? Well, first of all, there has to be a soul searching. It has to be an interest. And it also has to be encouragement that even if it's just a sentence, a couple of words, you're writing. So to answer the question, what inspires you or how do you get started? Well, you need quiet time, those moments right after dawn, before the sun is truly risen and people are up and interrupting your thought process. That's a great time. And when you're really, really stuck, I like templates and I share them with children. I give them like a paragraph with words missing and just ask them to fill in the adjectives for me. And when they're done,
like Mad Libs.
Yeah, when they're done, they have a poem and they're so amazed that they can actually do it, that stems them to try things on their own.
Okay, I see here. I want to ask a question here, because there had to have been a point where you was like, no one starts off, to my knowledge, I have a book first. Like, I've met people start performing, then they transition to writing a book. What advice can you give, or should I say, what is one thing you wish somebody had told you before you started working on your first book? Now, come on, I don't talk to all of y'all. I know y'all got some horror stories because I know them.
So one thing, basically, get your ass a marketing team for when after the book is released. Sure. That's one of the things I've had to struggle with. And for me personally, I personally have let that go because it was more important for me for the book to exist than to worry about marketing and to have like physical merch from when I do perform than to worry about marketing and a social media standpoint. Plus, because I run my own arts organization, Evolute Culture, a lot of that marketing power kind of went to that. So it's been that back and forth between artist and curator that kind of affected things as well. So if you're in that type of position and you're writing a book, make sure to find that balance to where you are feeding yourself and the projects that are more connected to you as opposed to a team that you have to worry about. So definitely that. There's one thing.
If I can chime in.
I like the marketing. I'm sorry, Helena.
No, I would say, who's next?
Yeah, I like the marketing information, Sean, that you just gave to everyone, because one of the things is, as a human being, I think that we all go gung-ho, we're going to be famous, oh, our book is going to be so good, everybody's going to want it, it's going to be out there, everybody's going to buy it, and then you actually have the book, and it's like, well, who is everybody? And, and like, how do you actually get to everybody? And, you know, with me, how do I not throw it out there so many times that I'm really like crushing people with it? But I do want them to at least open it and read it. And I think like forums like this, where you share your pieces, your work, or you let someone else read your work to the public, that is definitely something that would help with the moving of a book and the selling of your product. So yeah, marketing.
Especially as an independent author, you know, we don't have that big machine behind us to put all these advertisements or videos out. So it's like, I was so happy to get the book that I was like, damn, this marketing thing is way harder than putting the book together. Because I mean, after you sell it to your friends and family, it's like you want other people to read it. You want to get it out to as many people as possible. You know?
I'd like to chime in because I think I have a different view of the marketing. So my view is I'm not a marketer. That's not my area of expertise. So I'm not going to try to market. There's people that know how to market. So, I mean, you may be forced, because sometimes you just have to do things out of necessity. So you may have to do the bare minimum as far as something in the marketing realm to get your stuff out there. But I think you should always be trying to connect to find other people who have the expertise in certain things. So that's how I feel about marketing. I'm going to find somebody that's good at it and let them do what they're good at. That's not my area of expertise.
Yep.
And for me to do it and focus on it, it's actually just going to take me out of what I'm good at. It's just not going to mesh with my spirit. That's how I feel about that.
And I want to put a word of caution out there to all the new folks, because I'm going to put I have been taken advantage of horribly as a person in this business, where maybe somebody said, oh, I'll build your website, I'll charge you like $4,000. Like, doesn't that seem a little extensive? Or then there was like, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, so you're like, well, I don't want to honor this contract anymore. And then they want to come up and say, well, you still owe me $8,000 or $5,000, or they show up at your show and you're demanding money, stuff like that. So I just want to encourage everybody, before you give your money to somebody who says, oh, I'm a marketer, or I can proofread your book, or you need to get their reference. Just because they are a poet on the scene and they say they can do this for you does not mean that you should not vet them. Okay. And I even had a person, and I'm so glad that I know how to do my own websites now. And you can go to Wix.com and learn. James put me on that. I spent like 6 months learning website design and videos my last year of school. And if I can be of any help to anyone, I would definitely help you free of charge, because we need websites. You can't be putting yourself out there and not have something for somebody to go to, buy your stuff, all that other jazz. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like, don't get taken advantage of.
I want to chime in and give some resources out there. Well, first of all, you got to know the steps in publishing. You got to know the steps in publishing is very important, and the steps as a writer, period. This is a resource that I came upon, and I literally use this every time I do anything literary based. But there's a YouTube channel called the Life of a Writer, and it's by a writer and agent by the name of Stephanie Newell. This is one of the greatest resources on YouTube. She literally gives step by step the process of a writer, the process of publishing, the process of marketing, everything even tools that you can use to write, whether it be apps, whether it be different, mobile apps or different applications, free and ones that you can spend money. Definitely use her as your starting point, because I didn't have that going in. When I first self-published my book, I didn't know all the steps, and that was part of one of the mistakes that I made. I'm gonna put the link in the Facebook comments so you can have access to it.
That'll be great. And it's an old school book, but if you have no clue about marketing, it's called Guerrilla Publicity, and you also have something called Guerrilla Marketing. I like Guerrilla. Well, I have both of the books, and so I suggest, if you don't have to be a marketer, but just pick up the book. It's an old book. I don't even know if it's in print, but you might be able to still get it, and it'll give you a foundation. Because if you are going to somebody who's going to assist you with marketing, you should at least be able to ask the appropriate questions to see if they are going to be conducive to your needs as an artist.
One last thing to add to that, and then unfortunately I had to step out because
you got your other show.
Yeah. One last thing in regards to that. In regards to, if you are going to outsource to another marketer, definitely ask the appropriate questions. But also, if you feel like, you know what, maybe I need to learn these things on my own, and you find yourself like, maybe I can handle this, don't doubt yourself too much. Don't doubt yourself then too much. If you feel like you can't handle it, please do, find your own style, like something that's appropriate to the actual project that you're putting out. One thing I will caution is that you may find some marketers or some promoters that will try to promote your book or promote your project in a manner that is contradictory to the project in and of itself and the goal of it. So make sure that you find somebody that is in alignment with a project or a goal or a course that honestly should be not debatable and non-negotiable. This is what it is. How can you market it to where it honors it?
Thank you, Sean. Sean, you got literally like no seconds to get to your next Zoom show.
Right.
When I get done with this, I'm popping over to your show.
Got you. Yes, virtual talk show. Next up, if you guys want to watch it, I am the host, Evolu Culture on Facebook, EVOLUCULTURE. I'll see y'all soon. Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Thank y'all.
Now, I just want to, before we end the show, I just want to go around to everybody that's still here. If you can just give one word of wisdom, a sentence or two of wisdom to the newcomer, to somebody who wants to publish or somebody who's thinking about publish. Can you just give them some advice?
I'll start off.
Thank you,
I would just say, that old maxim about when you're building, measure twice, cut once. Take your time and just thoroughly research it, and don't try to rush into it, and just do things. If you're going to do the self-publishing, like research it, work your poems out at open mics, submit them to different journals and stuff. Because then this way, if you're getting good responses to the poems, then you have a foundation for like a reason to say, like, this is why I should make a book. I got some poems that have done well.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. James, can I call on you next?
Yeah. I would say it also depends on, and I'm speaking on a self-publishing aspect. Look into what print on demand. That's like companies like Amazon. What's the one?
Lulu.
Say it again.
Lulu.
Right. And others. There's plenty of others, but each one is gifted at a particular thing. And so in other words, I'm looking at my slide because I have the information on my slide here, but there's particular print on demand that is specific for quality of print in terms of illustration and just a regular black and white print book. Do your homework with that. Know what type of book that you're trying to self-publish, and then use that as a guide in order to pick the right print on demand company for you. There's some that are very expensive, but you got to weigh the pros and cons of each one.
Okay. Thank you, James. You need to be doing a publishing workshop. You just got like a wealth of knowledge.
I actually did do one for a young teen that is working on self-publishing currently, and I'm going to offer that services in the future. So I'll put my information once again in the chat.
Okay. And I want to encourage everyone here. You don't always got to give your services for free.
Mm-hmm.
You see the side eye, we got to get paid too. And I'm thinking that, if somebody is doing a workshop and you really like it, shoot them $10, $20, whatever it is. Like sometimes you got to pay, you have to spend money to make money sometimes, and you can't get everything for free. You know what I'm saying? So we have to support each other in that area as well. Did you say White James? Big Mike, why are you changing your name constantly? You're the White James Ellery. Please, what is your sentence or two of wisdom for the newcomer? I want to get with Amina because she has a question, not Amira. Amina, after I get with Amira, and then we're going to end the night.
I would say ask for help from people you trust, whether it's reading over your manuscript or advice. So you talked about James. James helped me tremendously. I called him, asked him a lot of questions. I called people like Mahogany Brown and asked her a lot of questions because she had self-publishing. When you try to do everything yourself, it just builds and builds the frustration because you don't know what to do anymore. And like you said, you can get taken advantage of or make mistakes. So if you have people who have mastered their craft around you, ask them for help.
And I want to say, do not proofread your own book. You have to proofread because you're going to read your errors, you're still gonna be like, oh, that shit is right. You have to have somebody proofread your stuff. My first chapbook, God bless him, Rob Hilton came to my house like 9 o'clock at night, and he sat in my mother's dining room and read my book for like 2 hours. Okay, and then it went to print the next day. So I don't know what Rob is doing these days, but thank you. I remember you helping me out, Rob. It was greatly appreciated.
I asked Rob to help me. He said no.
Oh, well, you know what? Sometimes he could be an asshole too, but we still love him. Okay. Amira, your words of wisdom before we let Amina ask the last question before we end the night.
Okay, great. Yeah. Be patient. It's going to take way longer than you thought. Let's put it that way. And the other thing is that for me to go, I went from speaking the poems to writing them down. And when you perform a poem, it's way different than writing that poem in a book and having someone pick up the book and read it with the same rhythm as you perceived it in your head. So you're going to have to take some time with making sure that the punctuation is where it is or where it should be, so that the poem breaks the way that it should be spoken. That was the hardest thing for me. I had to go over those poems over and over again because it was spoken word and not written word.
Okay. Unfortunately, everybody, I just got the word that we have to wrap. Amina, I don't know if you're following me on Facebook, but if you can, follow me on Facebook, and I will get your question out to the people who are on the panel. New Eureka Poets Cafe, thank you very much. Jason, I'm sorry we went over. Favorite song, What Can I Do For You by LaBelle. Go support a poet, support these authors. Bye, everybody. Jason, you can cut us off. I know you got to do another show.
Have a good